Hi, this is Ami from Mr. No Sleep. Hope you like our new channel and enjoy horror stories. Please subscribe to the channel to receive all new scary stories in the time. Let's start. Kim woke up with a terrible headache. It took some time for her to realize that she is lying on her bed. Last night's party went a little overboard. She slowly got up and moved the curtains of her bedroom window. The sunlight brightened her dark room. With tumbling steps, Kim went to the bathroom and started to wash her face. Suddenly, her phone rang. She turned back and noticed the phone lying on the floor under her bed. God! How drunk was I, she said to herself. She went ahead and picked up her phone. It was Rick. Rick and Kim worked together. In fact, last night both of them were together. They went to a party at one of their colleagues' house. Kim answered the phone saying, "Yeah, what is it?" For a second, she couldn't understand what was he saying. Kim said annoyedly, "What are you saying, Rick? I'm not getting a single word of yours." She could tell from Rick's voice that he is in terrible shock. Rick replied with a shaken voice, "Kim, Shelly's dead," and started sobbing like a kid. Kim felt like the sky over her head will break upon her at any moment. She said out loud, "What exclamation? Exclamation. What are you how? How did it happen, Rick?" Rick said in the same sobbing voice, "The cops are saying she killed herself." Kim was beyond shocked. She said in the same shocking tone, "What do you mean by cops? How come they are involved in this?" Rick said, "I can't say everything over the phone. Noah and I are going to the subway station near our office. Meet us there in 15 minutes. Before Kim could ask more, Rick disconnected the phone. She sat down on her bed with a terrorized face. It has been 6 months since Kim joined this new workplace. She works as a graphic designer for a fashion magazine. Rick and Noah work in the accounts department. They often hang out together. Last night they were all together at Sean's house. Sean invited almost everyone to the party except Shelly. Everyone at the office kind of avoided her due to her creepy nature. Shelly had a crush on Sean. She even proposed to him twice, but Sean made it quite clear that he is in a relationship already. But Shelly becomes obsessed with him. She kept texting him and tried to make conversation with him forcefully in the office many times. Her stalking behavior went on for a week until Sean announced his engagement. Last night they threw Sean a bachelor party. Shelly was acting really strange after Sean announced his marriage. She stopped talking to anyone. No one saw her at work for the last 5 days. When Kim reached the subway station, she could see people gathering on the platform. There were cops everywhere. The track was sealed and the railway service was stopped. She didn't realize what was going on there. Just then she saw Rick and Noah walking towards her from the crowd. Their faces were pale and drenched in fear. She asked Rick, "Will any one of you tell me what the hell is going on here?" Rick wiped his tears and said, "It's Shelly. She jumped on the track this morning and committed suicide. The security footage is showing that there were very few people on the platform today as it is a Sunday morning." Shelly was standing on the platform. Suddenly the subway car approached from the other side, and when it came close to her she jumped on the tracks. Noah said in a terrified voice, "The cops have called the paramedics. There is blood everywhere." She is still lying there, and stared at the edge of the platform with fearful eyes. "What do you mean by she is still lying there? The cops should pick up her body. What the hell is wrong with them?" Kim said in an angry voice and started to walk towards the track. Rick went to stop her, saying, "No, Kim, you don't understand. She is," but before he could say further, Kim was already near the tracks. There were blood stains all over the platform. But as her eyes went ahead, she screamed at the top of her lungs and fell on the platform floor. Shelly was lying on the tracks, but her body was ripped off in 2 parts. Her lower body was under the subway car's wheels, while her upper body stood still. Her eyes were bursting out with blood filled inside them. Her entrails were gushing out from her slitted waist. There was blood all over her body. Her mouth was wide open. She might have screamed in terrible pain when the subway car ran her over. It was a vicious sight to watch. Kim couldn't take it anymore. She was feeling nauseous. Noah and Rick lifted her and carried her to the other side of the platform. She started throwing up. After a while, she finally holds herself together and sat down on the stairs of the subway. A cop came and offered her some water. The paramedics came and took out Shelley's sliced body. When the three of them reached Kim's home, it was almost afternoon. They sat down on the couch. None of them could believe Shelley is no more. Noah broke the awkward silence and said, "Did anyone tell Sean?" Rick said, "I don't know. Let me call him." Kim was sitting with a blank pale face. Rick dialed Sean's number and told him about this unfortunate event. Sean's reaction came like a huge shock. Sean said in an irritated voice, "Look man, I'm not her boyfriend, neither I was her friend. I really don't understand why everyone is calling me since the morning and making my life miserable. This isn't my fault, dude. She assumed things on her own. Please stop involving me in this bullshit." Kim couldn't believe Sean's words. She finally lost it. She snatched the phone from Rick's hand and said, "I can't believe you are such a selfish bastard, Sean. One of our colleagues just died a horrible death. All you could do is show some empathy. I feel really bad for Shelley for falling in love with an asshole like you." And then she disconnected the phone in rage. Rick and Noah were hurt too by Sean's cruel behavior. The next day when everyone went back to work, Kim noticed Sean standing at the cafeteria and laughing with few co-workers as if nothing has happened. Sean looked at her and said, "Hey, Kim," but she ignored him and walked away. The entire day Kim didn't talk to Sean and avoided him completely. The office staff decorated Shelley's desk with candles. They placed a picture of Shelley where she was smiling like a happy, jolly girl. Kim stood in front of her desk and tears came to her eyes. She couldn't help but think that no matter what kind of a person she was, no one deserves to die such a horrible death. After work, she was leaving for home when Noah came and asked, "Hey, you alright?" Kim nodded and replied, "Yeah, think so." Noah asked in a hesitant voice, Rick and I was thinking to go for a drink. Would you like to join us?" Any other day Kim would have gone excitedly, but right now all she wants is to go home and lie down. Kim said in a tired voice, "No, thanks. I better go home and sleep." She left the office. Kim didn't want to take the subway, but that is her quickest option to reach home. She looked at her watch. It was 8 p.m. already. There were fewer people on the streets due to the cold weather. Reluctantly, Kim walked towards the subway. While getting down the stairs, a chilling sensation grabbed her spine. She doesn't know why she was feeling like something bad is going to happen here again. As she walked towards the platform, she started sweating in fear. But after looking down the tracks, she calmed down a bit. The tracks were clean and clear. There was no sign of blood. Kim sat down on the platform seats and waited for her train to arrive. There were 3 people on the platform, but all of them were waiting for the train on the other side. The empty subway platform stood silently in front of her eyes. A train came on the other side and left with the rest of the people waiting on the platform. Now, Kim was completely alone in this long subway. She looked at the timetable. She has to wait 10 minutes more for her ride. The feeling of being alone in the same subway where her colleague committed suicide yesterday was a very comforting one. She was going through all these troublesome thoughts just when she heard a weird sound. It felt like something was being dragged on the floor. And then another strange sound took place. Don't know how one should describe it, but if one has to put the sound into words, it was like tick-tick. Kim didn't know what to do just when her eyes went on the edge of the platform. What the hell is that? She saw fingers on the edge of the platform grabbing the floor. Before she could see further, suddenly a hand touched her shoulder and almost screamed in fear. But as she turned back, she saw Sean was standing there with a surprised face. Sean said with an awkward smile, "Sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. Everything's all right." Kim said in a relieved voice, "Don't ever do that." And then said, "What are you doing here?" Sean said, "I came to apologize for my behavior earlier. Kim, you should know I'm equally shocked hearing about Shelley's death, but it was my fault, you know. You know better than anyone how she made my life miserable. I won't say I'm glad that she died, but I can't do anything about this either." Kim didn't say anything as Sean went on explaining how it wasn't his fault and Shelley was mentally ill. Sean was finishing her sentence on how Shelley should have visited a psychiatrist just when that sound took place again. Sean paused and said, "Did you hear that? Or it's just me?" Kim said in a confused tone, "No. I did too." They glanced at the track nearby from where that sound was coming. Sean started to walk towards the edge of the platform to see what it was. Kim went with him too, but what they saw next stopped their hearts. Sean fell on the floor and Kim stuck to the nearby pillar, breathing heavily. No sound came out of her mouth. It was Shelley, or one should say it was Shelley's ghost. She was sitting on the tracks, but it was only the upper part of her body. Her hair was dripping blood. Her mouth was hollow and open. Her entrails were hanging from the end of her torso. She dragged herself up from the tracks with her hands and started limping towards Sean, making a horrible sound. Sean started to crawl back in fear and was about to get up and run just when a horrible incident happened in front of Kim's eyes. Shelley's ghost sliced Sean's body into two, parts splattering blood all over the platform. Sean's painful scream echoed inside the subway while Kim fainted then and there. Kim is still admitted to the hospital. All she heard in the news is that the security camera of the subway has captured bizarre footage of that night. The camera has shown Kim standing terrified, sticking up to the pillar nearby while her colleague Sean is lying on the floor panting and gasping for air. The bizarre thing is that there is no one else on the platform, but suddenly Sean gets sliced into two halves, splashing blood all around, and dies a horrible death. The police tried many times to take Kim's statement about this incident, but Kim hasn't spoken a word since. She just stares at the hospital ceiling like a lifeless creature.